Okay, we're here at the Personal Injury Medical Legal Seminar, and here we're with one of the attorneys that showed up. And so what's your thoughts right now? Right now we've gone through exactly how to document the case, and now we're having how to put the case into its narrative format. So up to this point, how are you feeling about what you're hearing from how the doctors are learning how to document the case?
Yeah, I have to admit that some of this information is actually new to me, and it's eye-opening information, and the greatest thing about it, I think, is how the documentation logically lays out the client's treatment history and the necessity for future treatment. Their entire case pretty much is presented with the medical documentation, at least in a soft tissue case where there's no other factors beyond.
Yeah, and let's be specific. Let's say we got the soft tissue injury.
Right.
So now we've talked about the categories of documentation, that if you don't have that, then you got nothing. You see
Right.
that. And you see how that's a big problem.
Yeah, I see that definitely.
But can you see how when we talked about it, when you document it the way we talked about it, now we have all these categories called financial driver categories?
Yeah, not just the categories themselves, but how they unlock one.
Oh yeah. How one gives you the next, and if you don't get this one, it doesn't give you the yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That was probably pretty important.
That
Wasn't
was probably maybe the most important.
that went from no case to a big case. That one unlocking, how one unlocks the next. Let me go into the next one when I talked about, okay, so we have all of them unlocked, so to
Right.
speak, but now I keep talking about how to put the case together and tell the story.
Yep.
And then we talked about the mechanisms of injury, subjective and objective findings, therapeutic protocol, response to treatment, MMI impairment, prognosis and the need to care, and then defend it with the pre-existing and low-impact injury. What do you think about that?
I thought it was great information. The financial drivers are obviously important to have
Yeah.
when they exist, but they mean, I guess you might say they don't mean anything without the
Right,
actual
right.
presentation of them in a way from a doctor who's a chiropractor who's qualified to do so. Oftentimes, the attorneys ourselves, we try to do that, but we're not the
Right.
person that's most qualified to organize the information.
Now, how valuable is that for you as an attorney when you get a narrative report that lists the 6 categories that puts the case together and the 2 to defend it? How valuable is that for you?
It's incredibly valuable because if it's not there and we attempt to do it, it means a lot less from the attorney, for one thing, who's
Right.
not a trained medical professional, and we're not only that, but we're not necessarily trained in the way to actually present that information.
It's probably
so-
safe to say, because if you didn't get it like that, you probably wouldn't have as much vigor to go after your claim as much, would you?
I agree, yes, definitely.
And if you had that, not only the documentation, but it was presented that way, would that make you feel stronger about asking for more and demanding more,
It definitely would, yes.
knowing that you had somebody who could actually go to court and testify and win?
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be
Okay.
great.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Yep, thank you, appreciate it.
Thanks. Yep.